What if your intelligence was actually working against your wealth? Most people assume that smart people are good with money. That education leads to financial success. That if you're capable enough to understand complex ideas, economics, psychology, strategy, then managing your own finances should be easy. In fact, some of the most intellectually gifted people alive are completely, chronically broke. And the reason has nothing to do with income, opportunity, or circumstances. It has everything to do with how their brain works against them. In this video, we're going to break down the exact psychological patterns that trap smart, capable people in financial struggle, and more importantly, what it actually takes to break free. Reason 1. Overthinking every financial decision. Smart people overthink. It's what makes them smart. But in finance, overthinking is expensive. The average person sees an investing app, downloads it, puts in $50, and starts. The smart person spends 6 months researching the optimal index fund allocation, tax efficiency strategies, and expense ratio comparisons, and never invests a single dollar. This is called analysis paralysis. And high intelligence is one of the biggest triggers for it. The brain that's brilliant at solving complex problems is the same brain that generates more variables, more edge cases, more what-ifs, until the decision feels impossible. Meanwhile, the market compounds. Time passes, and the cost of waiting quietly destroys their financial future. The fix isn't less intelligence. It's knowing when good enough is better than perfect. Reason 2. The ego wealth trap. Here's one that almost nobody talks about. Smart people have large egos. Not always in an arrogant way, but in the sense that their identity is often tied to how they appear to others. Their taste, their choices, their status signals. And status is expensive. The right apartment in the right neighborhood. The car that matches the career, the restaurants, the clothes, the gadgets, all chosen, consciously or not, to communicate intelligence and success to the world. This is the ego wealth trap, spending money to look wealthy instead of spending money to become wealthy. The cruel irony is that the wealthiest people tend to be the least flashy. They drive average cars, they live in modest homes, they let their net worth do the talking, not their lifestyle. But for the smart person who's built their identity around appearing capable and successful, that's psychologically very hard to accept. Reason 3. The cost of waiting. Smart people have a higher threshold for certainty. Before making a decision, they need more data, more evidence, more confidence. In most areas of life, that's a strength. In investing and wealth building, it's a trap. Because financial markets are uncertain by definition. There is no certainty, no moment where all the data lines up and the decision becomes obvious. The average person who starts investing at 25 with $200 a month, even if they pick mediocre funds, will beat the genius who waits until 35 to find the perfect strategy. Time in the market beats timing the market, every single time. The cost of waiting for certainty that never arrives is measured in decades of compound growth that never happened. Reason 4. The validation spending loop. This one is deeply psychological, and most people never see it in themselves. Smart people often feel undervalued. They work jobs where their intelligence isn't fully appreciated. They're surrounded by people who don't quite understand how they think. They feel like they're operating below their potential, so they spend. Not consciously, but the spending fills the gap. New tech, courses, books they don't finish, experiences that signal sophistication, upgrades that feel like rewards for being capable. This is the validation spending loop, using purchases to generate a hit of self-worth that the rest of life isn't providing. It doesn't feel like overspending, it feels like investing in yourself. It feels deserved, and it silently drains every dollar they make. The fix isn't willpower. The fix is finding other sources of validation that don't cost money: achievement, community, creative work, contribution. Reason 5. Mistaking complexity for intelligence. Here's a brutal one. Smart people are often drawn to complex financial strategies: options trading, crypto arbitrage, leveraged ETFs, multi-layered tax structures, because simple feels beneath them. If everyone is just buying index funds and holding them, that can't be the real answer, right? Surely the sophisticated move requires more nuance. So they overcomplicate. They day trade when they should be long-term investing. They build complex strategies that require constant maintenance. They move money in and out of positions based on research that the professionals have already priced in. The evidence is overwhelming. Simple investing strategies outperform complex ones over the long run. Index funds beat most actively managed funds. Consistency beats cleverness. But accepting that simplicity is the smart move. Reason 6. Status signaling over net worth. We live in a world that rewards visible success and punishes invisible wealth. Nobody knows your net worth, but everyone can see your car. Smart people are highly attuned to social dynamics. They understand status. They know how they're being perceived. And they know that in most social and professional circles, visible success is what earns respect. So they optimize for perception: the corner apartment, the luxury holiday, the designer bag, the expensive gym membership. These are all social signals. And for a smart person navigating a status-conscious world, they feel rational. But they come at the direct expense of building real wealth. The shift that changes everything is learning to find status in financial discipline itself, in the quiet confidence of knowing your net worth is growing while those around you are consuming, in playing a long game that most people can't see. Here's the thing. Every single one of these patterns, overthinking, ego spending, status signaling, validation loops, they all share one root cause. The smart person is using their intelligence to justify short-term emotional decisions. They're not failing because they're not smart enough. They're failing because they're using their intelligence in service of the wrong things. The wealthiest people aren't necessarily the smartest. They're the most consistent, the most patient, the most immune to the social and psychological pressures that drain everyone else. Morgan Housel in The Psychology of Money puts it perfectly. Wealth is what you don't see. It's the cars not bought, the upgrades not taken, the status not performed. It's the quiet, boring, consistent decisions compounded over decades. If you're smart, that's actually great news, because now that you can see these patterns, you can choose not to repeat them. If this video helped you see something in yourself, that's the first step. The next step is understanding the 5 specific psychological biases that are quietly costing you money every day, and we're covering exactly that in an upcoming video. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. And drop a comment below. Which of these patterns do you recognize most in yourself? Be honest. See you in the next one.